The whole world, is going crazy about your team. And the Buffalo Bills, all I hear from anybody, anything I say on the air, anything I post on social media about any other team, all I hear from are your beloved Bills Mafia telling me the Bills are clearly the best team in the league and Josh Allen is the MVP. What do you think?
I like that. I like everything you said. I mean, from what I've seen and didn't see a lot of Josh except for the last preseason game, you know what? He's doing everything he's supposed to do. The offensive line's giving him the time to throw. He's getting the ball out of his hands. Everything you'd want to see. Plus, I mean, he's got some pretty good receivers. I mean, with Diggs and Beasley and now Emmanuel Sanders. Davis is coming on. I think his running game, to be honest with you, I would like to see them run the ball a little more. Just take some of the pressure off of Josh having to throw it all the time. I was blessed because I had a Hall of Famer in Thurman Thomas in my backfield. I mean, Singletary and Moss are really good. But you know what? The pressure's on Josh to continue to do it week after week after week. And I love what I see. The defense got a couple extra players, drafting a defensive end, which I think we needed to go on the other side with Jerry Hughes. So far, I'm pumped. It's going to be a good game, opening game against. When I grew up, I was a big Steeler fan, and, me and Big Ben are very close. We have a great relationship, and it's going to be interesting, but I can't wait.
So at least for that day, you'll be rooting against him like crazy. That is a really good opener. Two teams I think are both going to be good. I think the Steelers are going to be way better than most people are talking about. But I want to just talk about Allen with you for a second because you're the perfect person to get into this. So I make the remark all the time. It is my belief that more young quarterbacks these days in the NFL are ruined than developed. The complete opposite of that is how the Buffalo Bills have handled Josh Allen. He came in with some very obvious talent, some great skill sets, and some question marks. And what they did was they brought him along in such a way, this is my observation, obviously you're much closer to it, they accented the things he did well. They minimized the things he didn't do well. They brought them along slowly but surely, piece by piece, until he was really ready to be all the things that we wanted an NFL quarterback to be. At that point, they went out and got him the superstar receiver with whom he has developed this incredible connection and bond. To me, it has been a master class in developing a young quarterback, and as a result, they're going to be good for a decade. What do you think? What do you see in all of that?
I agree 100% because the bottom line is you got to have people around you. I know the old cliche, you're only as good as what you have around you. And with them, Brian Dable did exactly what you should do. Ken Dorsey, the quarterback coach, making sure that Josh and him were on the same page. And when you go out and get extra players, I remember when I was playing, I think I've said this before on your show, we need that extra wide receiver to go with Andre Reed and Don Beebe. We had a very good team. We had a very good offense. Went out and got James Lofton. And when they went out, 2 years ago and got Diggs, that was what they need. They need that extra weapon to be able to do exactly what you need to do to move up to that next level. So for the Bills, you hit it right because a lot of times – these quarterbacks, as you well know, the really good ones, go to a team drafted by a team that's not very good. And it takes some time. Whether you sit him or whether you put him in depends on who you have around him. Because if your offensive line is not very good, to bring a young quarterback in and have him get beat on, that takes something out of that guy. So I think the more you have the people around you, the more you'll develop quicker.
Greeny and the great Jim Kelly is with me on the Goodyear Hotline, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven. You mentioned young quarterbacks, as there are a bunch of them. There were 5 taken in the first round this year, and as we have seen, each of them, I think, show you some really good things in the preseason, and many of them are now the starters, including, as of yesterday, Mac Jones in New England. You know what comes up. Everyone always brings up your quarterback class. The legendary 1983 class that with you and Marino and Elway, who are all in the Hall of Fame, and 3 other quarterbacks, Eason and Blackledge and Ken O'Brien, which I think is considered to be the greatest quarterback class of all time. And they say, can this group be better? What do you think?
Well, yeah, and I always say, because they always bring it up, I think within the last 20 years, every time there's a class come up where people think it's going to be good, they always compare it to our class. And I always say, well, time will only tell. But when you look at what they have, Mac Jones with the Patriots, Zach Wilson with the Jets, the AFC East has some pretty good quarterbacks. And, I mean, you go all the way around. There's so many different quarterbacks that you look at. But young quarterbacks in this league in today's game are so unbelievable. They have all the skill set. They got the players around him. I like what I see, but as I always say, time will tell. But I like especially what we have in Buffalo with Josh Allen. I think he's got the weapons around him. He's got the team. He's got the coach and Brian Dable, which will allow him to throw the football. As you saw last week in a preseason game, there was not one running play in the first quarter when Josh was in there. So I think the way they take care of quarterbacks now, they protect them, they make sure that they don't get hit at all. I can't say I'd still be playing now, but I would have played a few more years if I didn't get buried in the turf back when we played. But the bottom line is they're taking care of the offensive side. I know the defensive backs and of course, the defensive linemen don't like it when you can't hit a quarterback. But I love what I see. I love the young quarterbacks we have out there today. And I just love football. I love the Bills, but I love watching good quarterbacks throw the football.
Yeah, and how competitive are you guys? Like I'm thinking, because you mentioned Josh Allen, he's part of another of these quarterback classes. Him and Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield, who've all had great success, and we'll see what winds up happening with Sam Darnold now. And you mentioned Ben Roethlisberger earlier. He and Phillip Rivers and Eli in the same class. When you're together with those guys, when you're together with Marino and Elway, and do you talk about this? How competitive are you about being the greatest quarterback group ever to come out?
No, we haven't. It's been a while since we talked about that. Usually we talk about how your family, your golf game, and things like that. Don't usually talk about that. But you know what? We know what we did. We know, and of course, I make fun of me and Dan. I always thank John for winning 2 Super Bowls for us because we both, been there, done it, but didn't win it. But you know what? The way we went about it, the team that we had, the fun that we had, that's what it's all about. And, yeah, we did put up the numbers, especially those guys, especially, Dan with all the passing yards he had. But until they prove us wrong, we still are the greatest quarterback class ever, period.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.